What's up? I know a while back I told you all that I was going to give you my life story or how I came to surrender my life to Christ. Well, today is that day. And I will be going back to the first time that I started seeking Christ for myself and let you know how everything panned out up until this point. And yeah, I hope it's not long. I hope it's not overdrawn out because I like to ramble sometimes. But other than that, I hope you all enjoy. The first time I chose to seek Christ for myself outside of me growing up in church was during the military. Now I'm gonna let you know that it is not us who chooses to seek Christ. It is Christ who calls us, who tugs at our heart, and we just either answer or reject. But being in the military was the first time that I accepted the invitation to know who he was for myself, because I was in a place of discomfort, of chaos, and I know Jesus to be the only peace that I've had. The only peace and comfort that I had was in Christ. And so in the military, that was my way of escaping the chaos that was around me, was Bible study or going to chapel. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm just giving you the brief rundown, not necessarily the whole backstory behind it, but if you do have those questions, I will answer them if they are appropriate and if they are, sensible questions. After I got out of basic, I wasn't really reading the Bible. I wasn't really going to church or anything like that outside of that because I'm outside of basic, outside of the discomfort, right? And so I was back in my comfort zone, knowing the people I was around and everything. Well, that started to change after I got into a relationship with this girl that I met at work. First I was living with my homeboy. Me and my homeboy got an apartment together. He was with his girl while, we were all living together. And I met her at work. We ended up talking because of a bee. And I invited her over to the crib. She asked did I smoke. I said no. So she was smoking. I've tried it because my brother smoked, but I never smoked nor drink. And so I told her, no, I don't smoke, but you can have at it. You know what I'm saying? I don't judge. My brother smoked. So I let her do her do. But over time, it became a relationship because she was always there. And then her mom kicked her out. So I let her move in with me. After about a few months, probably less than that, I was like, yeah, we should get our own spot. I was like, yeah, me staying with my homeboys, we both got a girl, you know what I'm saying? We should go do our own thing. Well, we get our own spot. And from there, it was just like, I guess you could call it toxic, which really was toxic. I started smoking, I started drinking, things I've never done before. Not necessarily done before, but never indulged in, right? Started doing things that wasn't me. And so while we're doing these things, we come across conspiracy theories on YouTube, just watching all types of conspiracy theories. And me, in my spirit, I felt all the darkness inside of those conspiracy theories. I started getting scared of them because I believe in spirits. I've seen ghosts before, you know what I'm saying? So I started feeling the dark tension around. And then one day I seen this video on YouTube about this girl dying for 23 hours and her going to heaven and hell. And that really changed my perspective on life, but also to know that Jesus, God, is not a game. Like, this life we live is not a game. And so I think I showed it to her. I'm not really sure. I probably did, who knows? But after that instance, I was like, yeah, I gotta find a church. And she was like, I have a church. And to come to find out, I've been to the church before because my mom took us. We started going to church, things started to change. I was praying more, reading the word more. We started studying and everything of that nature. And then it was just like, things started to get worse in a sense. More so infidelity type things. But she was cheating and I would pray that God get me out of this situation because I know I wouldn't get out of it on my own. This was my first relationship. I was asking God in prayer to, get me out of this situation. Well, little did I know that he would send me to jail. he would send me to jail to get me out of the situation, which I seen while I was going through the process of being in jail, because I was being accused of being a part of a robbery, I guess you could say, being accomplice to robbery. And so what happened was, how the whole thing played out was, I was going to work, I did a lot of overtime, I did a lot of this and that. So I think I was filling in for somebody. So I got there and we was in between switching shifts. Somehow, based off the whole thing, somehow somebody who was on site wasn't supposed to be there, and that it happened during the switch shift. And then while they left and I'm on the shift, I let the man out. And so that following week, they changed the regulations on check the driver's license of the truckers and all this and that. And then come that Friday night, I was about to start my shift, and then a car rolls up from the warehouse. It was like, "Are you Tracy?" I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Come with me. Come back to, we're going back to the warehouse." So I'm thinking, they like what I'm doing all this work for them, this and that. I'm about to get another job, or they go out to give me or something good, nothing bad. Something good. And so they end up questioning me. I guess you can call it interrogation. Questioning me about how I do my job, who these people, do I know these people, this and that. And I can't do nothing. I don't lie. So I told them what I knew. I told them how I do my job. I told them who were certain people, which the only person I knew was the person who worked with me, but they got fired. So that was it. And then it was like, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to save you your job. I'm trying to, this and that, whoop, whoop." And then they bring in police to arrest me. I'm like, I just went, because I ain't, what I'm saying, you see all the police brutality, you see all the extra junk. So I just went. And I'm thinking I'm gonna get out probably that Monday, because I know jail, what I'm saying, you ain't getting out over the weekend. So I knew I probably was gonna get out around Monday. Well, come Monday, I go to court and they talking about my bond is $500,000. I said, whoa. I said, you gotta be kidding me. 500,000? So that's what, 10%, 50,000 I have to pay to get out on bond? Like, bro, you wildin'. So while I was in jail that first time, in booking, I was praying nonstop all night long. I was praying, just praying. And when they got to taking us to general population, one of the guards asked, "Whose first time is it in here?" I raised my hand. My first time in jail. I ain't never been in jail. I never thought I would be in jail because I stay away from trouble. But he asked, "Whose first time was it being in jail?" I raised my hand. He was like, "Okay." Yeah, that's all he said. He was like, "Okay." And then we got our stuff, like our mattress, our little box they gave us, towel, rag, soap, all that stuff that they give us to be able to get inside. He was like, I got somewhere to put you. So when we get inside, I'm in a cell with an old man. Come to find out, I don't really believe it as much anymore. But when I got in there, he was like, "Yeah, I'm a preacher. I just had a DUI, so they got me in here for 30 days. I don't judge, but geez, a preacher and you have a DUI. But anyway, so I asked him, I was like, "You got a Bible by chance?" He was like, "No, but I can find you one." I was like, "Okay." And then he was like, "We have this thing called Prayer Circle. I think you should join. It starts at 8 o'clock and, just see how you like it. If you like it, you can continue to go. If not, do your own thing." Well, I went. And what we do in the prayer circle was we will read the devotional for the day, and we will all tell, I guess, how we feeling, and then we will all pray. We all took turns praying. And so I did that every day. But before that, the police officer told me to fill out for trustee. Normally, you have to wait until a month to fill out for trustee, but that first day I came into the jail, he told me to fill out for trustee. And so I did. Within a month later, I was a trustee, right? But while the time I was in general population, I met a prophet. He told me, first he asked me the question from the book of Luke. He was like, it was the parable of the sower. He asked me a question from that parable. He was like, there are these three things. Which one are you and which one do you want to be? So I told him. I don't think he knew about my situation. I don't think I told anybody about my situation. But he told me that I was gonna get a virtuous woman. Again, right now, while being in jail, I'm supposed to be going through a breakup. God is supposed to get me out of a relationship that was very toxic, that I did not need to be in. And so I'm thinking in my mind that this virtuous woman, like the girl I'm with, is gonna become this virtuous woman for me. Well, the more I started to, read, pray. Mind you, I read the whole Bible in a month. The whole month I was in general population, I read the whole Bible. I was texting her this and that, like through the little iPad, not tablets they gave us. Texting her through them, doing this and that, all lovey-dovey messages and everything. One day she was like, yeah, you talk about God too much. Really brushed it off because I was still like, dang, I'm in jail, bro. It's insane to me. The situation was insane. After the prophet told me that is when, probably a week later, I became a trustee. After I become a trustee, Valentine's Day come around and I'm hitting her up. She my girl still, right? Well, called her. She was like, yeah, I've been seeing somebody else. It's a guy from work, this and that. But keep me updated on what's happening and this and that. I hung up. I ain't really hear nothing else. I'm like, bro, why would I keep you updated on anything that's going on and we not together? It's just questions going through my mind like, why? You said all this stuff about how you love me, this, that. You coming up here with my family to see me on the screen or whatnot. It's not like regular visits anymore. My mind was just racing. Just racing. That following month, after that happened, I hit my mom up and was like, because she had just got a new place, the place I'm in now. She had just got a new place and she was like, yeah, they gave me a 2-bedroom, but I wanted a 1. I was like, well, can I come stay with you? Because I just found out that she was somebody else. So after that following month, around the 20th, I was bonded out. That night, I went to get my stuff from the house. Nothing crazy, nothing happened. Yeah, just went with my brother to get my stuff out the house. She wanted to get everything off her conscience about what happened. I didn't really care, but to ease her pain. After that, I had a church home, the church that she invited me to, the church that my mother had taken us to before. So I went back to church after getting out of jail. Why when I went to church, I go everywhere early. I'm a very punctual person. So I went to church early, and right when church was starting, tell me why. She came to church with her dude, but decided to sit behind me. I said, ain't no way. After church, I said, yeah, you gotta find me a new church. Started looking on Apple Maps for a church near me. Seen one near me, stayed there. It was near my brother. And it was called Victory Church ATL at the time. I seen the logo, it was green, so I'm like, okay. I like the name Victory Church, you know what I'm saying? I like the logo because green, my favorite color. And so I'm like, let's give it a try. So I went and I felt that the pastor was the outward version of me when it comes to spreading the gospel, right? Like I'm a reserved person, but the passion for Christ was on the inside of me because after I got out of jail, I started telling my family, God sat me in here, like God reveals things to you. So I'm like, God sat me in here to get me out of the relationship because I asked him myself to get me out of the relationship because I couldn't do it myself. And so he orchestrated the whole thing for me to get out of the relationship. And so I told them how I read the Bible in a whole month. I told them how I was telling them like, yo, like you need to get right with God. You need to do this, you need to do that. Telling them they need to do this and that, which it doesn't work like that. But that's what I got when I started going to this church. I got better fire, a passion for God when I was going to this church because it was like God was still talking to me, even though he was talking to me through the last church, but he was still talking to me through this church. So I'm like y'all need to get right. Like God is amazing. Like he is really that. Like he is here for me. Like, and as I continue to like go to church, be a part of the small groups that the church had, my eyes were opening to the thing that God has been doing since I was little. He opened my eyes to every imprint that he had on my life. And from that point on, I was just like, I hear so many testimonies about how they come from so dark of a past to being in the light. And I'm just thinking like, I grew up in church and I never really liked trouble. So I don't really have a testimony to give, you know what I'm saying? And then COVID hit. Nobody's able to gather in churches. We're doing an online thing. So I stopped going to church. I dang near stopped reading the Bible, stopped praying, and then just about a good few years, stopped reading, stopped praying, started back smoking, started drinking again. COVID rolls around, we're not able to go to church gathering. I ain't have a job no more because my job was, selling Xfinity in Walmarts. And after everybody cleared the Walmarts out, it's over with. So I was door dashing and doing Uber at the time, full time. And then I started hanging out with my homeboy. And was just smoking all day, literally. Smoking all day, being lazy. Wasn't able to pay my car note and wasn't able to pay for the damage that just had occurred on my car, which was like the CV axle and all that. Around that time, I'm still on bond. So I still have a case going on. Somehow I have a warrant out for my arrest because I missed court. Never received a court date in the mail, but somehow I have a warrant out for my arrest. And my mom called the bondsman, and they was like, he has a warrant out for his arrest. And the first time this happened, where they said that I missed a court date, they got the warrant removed because I never received a letter. Well, my mom asked them to do the same thing this time. They was like, yeah, we'll try. Just tell them not to go anywhere or do anything. One day came in the morning. There's a lot of nuances to the stories that I'm telling. If you have questions, again, feel free to ask. I would happily oblige to tell you. This one morning, my mom went to court to handle the eviction situation, and I had the most damaging headache I've ever felt. My stomach was turning, all types of stuff. Next thing you know, doom, doom, doom. I look out the window, I see a cop standing right there, and there was a cop at the door. I was like, what? I opened the door, I knew why they was here. Just like, yeah, we have a warrant out for your arrest. Can you put your hand behind your back, turn around? I was like, can I put my dogs up first? And can I tell my mom what's happening? Called my mom, or was texting her on the way. No, I called her, told her what was happening. I still had my phone in the back of the police cruiser, right? She met me at the jail, took my phone. But this time while I was in jail, why God put me in jail was because I was hanging around my homeboy, which is causing me to procrastinate, which is causing me not to do anything, which is causing me to be lazy, and that I needed to get away from those who were endangering my future, per se. I guess you can say that, endangering my future. And so yeah, I took my time in jail. Each time I was in jail, I spent 3.5 months. If you know the Bible, 3 is a number that is used for symbolism. You got Jesus Christ being risen in 3 days. In the book of Revelation, you have the 2 witnesses being resurrected in 3.5 days, which I spent 3.5 months both times in jail. And then you have the woman and the baby in Revelations that had a 3.5 month period, something like that. And both times I spent 3.5 months in jail. But that second time was to get rid of the friends that no longer served a purpose in my life, that wasn't like helping me improve my life with Christ or anything of that nature. And so after that, I decided I wanted to stop smoking, because I wanted to not displease God anymore, but at the same time, I wanted to get more serious, because I feel the purpose that I have. I feel, I know literally at this point in time of me wanting to quit smoking, drinking, those things, I was like, they're not serving a purpose. It wasn't fulfilling to me anymore. And so I was like, I gotta stop. Well, after I stopped, a week later, God gave me a vision of a clothing brand to spread the gospel. Now, I have a whole drawn out plan of what the clothing brand was going to be about, but the passage was on the parable of the lost sheep, the 99 and the 1 and the 99. That's what it was on. It's no longer going. I'm rebranding it. But he gave me the vision of the clothing brand, and so I made the clothing brand. I got the LLC for it. After I made the brand, I was like, yeah, now I have to get a job to fund it. I got the job. I applied for the job. Probably about 2 or 3 days later, maybe a week, they hit me back, man, how soon can you work? Right now, if you need me. And so I was working all day, every day, 7 days a week, and started making prints and everything for the clothes, started getting blanks, started forming the clothing brand. I made the brand, got it, everything started. Now I started promoting the brand, but I wasn't promoting the gospel. Giving out the clothes for people to wear, to show, for them to take pictures in, to give them to me so I can continue to promote the clothing brand, but I wasn't spreading the gospel. So a year comes around, there's way more chaos than normal at the job. with coworkers, with management, with customers, you name it. So I started getting more irritated and this and that. And I felt God was telling me that I've wasted my time here. Your time is no longer needed here. You've been here a year. This was not supposed to be your career. It was just supposed to be for you to spread the gospel, essentially, to make something to spread the gospel. I felt at that same time he was telling me to leave the job, but also leave my mom's house, which I'm still in, but I will get to that. While he told me this, I was like, okay, I spent the money that I had from my previous check. So I was like, let me work another 2 weeks to, you know what I'm saying, get some money up so I can get some things before I leave. I have no idea where I'm going, but I know it's not here, right? So I was like, let me prepare myself for this leave. So I'm gonna just put in my 2 weeks notice. I'm gonna work the 2 weeks and get the things that I need. While that was taking place, I decided I wanted to get baptized again to fully surrender my life to Christ. And luckily, baptism was like right around the corner. Even though when I registered, I was put on a wait list, I still was able to get baptized with the spontaneous baptism people. But it wasn't about that. It was about me surrendering to Christ. So I got baptized, and at this point in time, the 2 weeks passed. I have no job, and also started going back to church. I got my baby right here, just so I could, start going back to church, but also so that I'm not, like, cause I don't have a car. If I'm gonna leave the house, I wanna, be able to go somewhere, not on feet. So I got this, but I started going back to church. We was in Matthew. He's been in the book of Matthew for the last 3 years, mind you. So we was in like the middle of the book. So I'm like, let me go back to the beginning of the year, start watching from there to where I'm at now. Well, I started watching. God confirmed to me once of me going back and watching the videos up until that point in time. He confirmed to me that I was supposed to leave the house through the associate pastor, Pastor Kenny. He confirmed it that I was supposed to leave because I had questions. I was praying. I'm like, do you really want me to leave? Like, I don't know where I'm going. Like, I'm just leaving the house. So I've had questions. I prayed. He answered that question. Then my mom has an accident where she passes out in the kitchen, hit her face on whatever, I don't know. I heard her calling my name. She called my name twice. I heard it the second time. Went in there. She went to bed. She got something to drink. She got something to eat. Or she didn't eat. That's why she went into the kitchen to get something to eat. But she was like, she wasn't hungry like that. So I'm like, bruh, you didn't eat nothing all day and you went bowling at that. So you need to eat something. So I gave her something to eat. She called out of work the next day. Took her to the hospital. She was in the hospital for a week. This is around the time Acts 2:42 was happening. And God started revealing to me why I was supposed to leave the house. Also because I continued to have questions like, because this happened, but I'm supposed to leave the house. Now I got to take care of my mom for 2 months because she's not able to work. I don't have a job, but that's a good thing about that I didn't have a job. I was able to take care of her, right? And so I was taking care of her, but at the same time, while taking care of her, taking her to this place, taking her to that place, I try to, talk about God, this and that. And come to find out, she doesn't believe that Jesus is God. I'm like, how does that make sense? Like, make it make sense. Like, how does that not make sense? He is the most perfect human to ever walk this earth. He does miracles, signs, and wonders. And why would he be able, the only person, why would he be the only person to be able to die for our sins? How do you not believe he's God? It made no sense to me, but I understand at that moment in time why he was telling me to leave, because her views is different. But at the same time, if I left and furthered myself along the path of my purpose that he has for me, it'll come a time where they will understand. My life will be testament that God is who we say he is for my family and for the people around me who don't believe. And so I started seeing that more and more, but then I stopped, trying to explain, because it wasn't getting through to them. Well, then December rolls around and I took my little brother to court. The judge told him he had to do 10 weekends in jail starting January 3rd of 2025. And it would last all the way up until now. I was just praying to God that he would just give me grace and mercy to be able to take care of this situation, because if he misses a month where he doesn't go to jail, or like if he misses jail one time, he would spend a whole 10 years in jail, the rest of his sentence in jail. So I'm like, okay, God, just let me be able to at the time take care of my mom, and then now be able to take him, because I was the only one who was able to take him to and from jail. So I ask God to give me grace and mercy in not leaving yet, but also to allow me to take him to and from jail so he doesn't get a full 10-year sentence in prison. Now we are in what's about to take place in my life. I am officially about to leave the house in a few days. I should have left last August when I quit my job. I'm officially about to walk the path that God has intended for me. I don't know where it's gonna lead me, but I know I have comfort and peace in leaving the house. He has also reassured me that me doing this will help grow faith in my family, but also others around me. It's not just for myself, it's not just for them, but it's also for others around me, because I'm spreading the gospel essentially. And how I came to making this YouTube channel, around the time my mom got admitted in the hospital, and after I got baptized, God started giving me dreams, started talking to me as I was reading the word, and he was like, I felt that he wanted me to share the things that he had given me in the dreams. So I did that, but I didn't know where to put them. I put them on Instagram, I put it on YouTube. Literally, my first video on YouTube was the encounter that I had from God. And then I started reading the word. Like, he would give me certain passages, he would give me certain books in my dreams, and I would just read that, right, and put it on YouTube. But also I started to, like, everything in the Bible is important, don't get me wrong, but I felt like the things that people needed to know, I started making or reading those books, chapters on YouTube. You know, a lot of people don't read the Bible, so I'm like, okay, you're telling me to start reading the Bible on YouTube? I started reading from where I was at. I think it was past Matthew. First time reading the whole book through, I can't remember. I started reading the Bible until this time of me now about to leave the house. I will begin to start vlogging more. I will start trying to disciple more, be a disciple, a real true disciple of Jesus Christ. I would try to let you all see that. I won't per se show the charity work, I guess you can call it. I won't show that, because in the Bible it says, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That right there, the gratification, the hand claps, the whatever, that is your reward for that situation. So I won't be doing that. I won't be showing you all that. But if I do have or create, if God allows me, if it's in God's will, I will have events or create events that will allow you to help out with these charity events. But other than that, I won't video record those. I would just be more so video recording the discipleship, or me giving the word to other people. And this was a long, drawn out video. I didn't expect it to be so long, and I do ramble a lot, but I'm glad that I've actually done this for you all. You basically got really my whole life story. I mean, you didn't get the childhood portion, but you got literally after high school, like right after high school to now. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, if you want to know more about the story, feel free to ask. Stay along for this journey, and you being a part of it, you're being a part of God's will. You're hearing and seeing what God is doing in my life, in the life of others, through his word. I will not be doing, try not to do anything outside of his word, right? I pray blessings and peace and comfort in all situations to you, your family, friends, whoever needs Jesus. I pray comfort, peace. Holy Spirit, bring your peace upon them. Holy Spirit, guide them, lead them to your glory, your salvation. Let them know that they are redeemed if they believe in Jesus Christ and what he has done for us. I pray that you continue to have your way in all of our lives. Let your will be done, not ours. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.